All right, gang, welcome back to our Can You Survive 25 challenge here on Zielonka. It is February, and February means there's not really much for us to do, so we're going to continue the process of what we've been doing here, which is kind of getting the new yard area set up and built out and continuing that process. Overnight, we've made a little bit more money, as you can tell. Kind of where we left off in the last episode, we had about 200,000. We're now at 300,000, so we've made a little bit of money. I did leave the pickled peppers and the pickled tomatoes on auto selling for the time being. So part of that came from that for sure, right? From selling that overnight. But the rest of that was from the greenhouses, among numerous other things, right? So we're going to continue our process here of expanding out this way. And just getting the yard kind of set up as much as we can here. Now, we're probably not going to be doing a whole lot with putting anything in the yard this way, but we're just going to try to get the rest of the yard, flattened out, built out this way, however you want to call it, however you want to word it. We're just going to kind of continue that process a bit here as we move forward. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Things are good, man. Things are good. As good as they can be, all things considered. This might be a little difficult to do because of these trees here, but I'm going to try to pull this up a little more if it'll let me do it here. It is allowing me to do it, slowly but surely, but it is allowing me to do it. Now this one is probably going to be a really tough situation to get this to pull up, but I'm going to try it anyway. With this here, I don't think it's going to allow me to pull it up anymore, unfortunately. And that's the smallest I can go, which I thought I could go smaller than that, but I guess not. So yeah, I think this is just going to have to be that way. There's not going to be much I can do about that. If I remove... Actually, it looks like it's working a little bit there. I was going to say, if I remove some of these trees, maybe that'll change, but... anyway. Alright, let's just kind of reach this a little bit higher here. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be perfect, but I definitely want as much land as we can get here. Of course, I'm going to have to go back around the edges here and smooth this out as we move forward, and that's going to hopefully make it look a little bit better than it does now. Right now, obviously, it looks really bad, but it won't stay this way forever. It's going to change again, so... But we're almost back down to 200,000 again, so... But I'm okay to spend a little bit more than that, because, we made so much money overnight that I'm good to spend a little bit more to get us where we want to be at. But... not too much higher here. I just want to pull this edge out here a little more. All right, I think that's probably going to be about as good as we're going to get it. Now, I'm going to have to go around the edges here and smooth this out. So this is where things are going to get a little weird looking because I'm taking away what I just did a little bit, but that's okay. Again, the point is just to make it... I mean, there's definitely going to be a bit of a hill here, but I don't want it to look so severe, so steep, right? I want it to look a little more realistic than it is. More like, we came through and dropped some, some dirt here on the ground just to kind of flatten and level this out. Not just a sheer cliff drop. I don't really want it to look like that, right? So I understand I'm losing a little bit of area that I could, put things on technically by doing this, but I'm okay with it. Similar to like this side, right? How we flattened it out a little bit. We're just kind of doing the same thing here. And I'm just going to go across the top here. Is it still a pretty severe drop-off here? Yes, but is it as sheer? No. It definitely looks a little bit better from just the sheerness, right? Yeah, okay, that's better. Is it perfect? No, but that's better. I'm happy with that. All right, so that puts us down just slightly below 200,000, but that's okay. Let's kind of paint this up here so we know exactly what we're working with here. And then what I'm going to do is probably do something different here for the edge of this and maybe even the edge right here. It's not as severe on this side, of course, but maybe I put some grass on the side, something like that. I don't know. Some rocks. All right, that should be good enough, I think. Okay, so there we go. We've got an area kind of built out. Am I able to paint across this? I might just paint straight across this if it lets me do it. It does. All right. I'm just going to paint straight across this. That way we know for a fact this is supposed to be a connection between the two, right? This tree is a bit in the way here, but that's all right. We still have the track coming up here, but then it opens up into our big yard area that I was kind of hoping to you know, mimic, which I think we've done a relatively okay job. Now, for the sides here, like I said, I'm probably going to do grass, I think, around the edges here. It's already grass, but, you know, put some meadow grass down, make it look like it's in there. The only other thing really we could try, if we wanted to, but I'm just not quite sure it's going to look good. Oh, actually, we don't even have it. Never mind. We have very little bit. We have very little things we can paint, actually. We don't have rock. I thought we had rock on Zielonka, but I guess we do not have rock, so yeah, that's not going to work anyway, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, we'll just do meadow grass around the edges then. Maybe a couple of trees here and there, of course, right? Of course, but you know, if we just add meadow grass to the edge of it like that, it's not going to look as bad. Get rid of that tree by just doing that meadow grass there. That was interesting. I didn't think meadow grass would remove a tree like that, but I guess it wasn't really a tree. I guess it was more like a weed. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. I need to smooth this side out. I didn't smooth this side yet, but yeah, you get the point there, right? I mean, it's going to look a little bit better doing this versus just being painted grass, right? Actually adding the meadows to the side of it, which is going to look a little bit better. Once it's not winter too, it's going to have a little more color to it. Right now, it just looks dead because it, you know, realistically kind of is. Don't get too close there, Z. I almost got to the edge there. I kind of did, actually. You know, I was going to say I almost got into the road there, but it is what it is at this point. I can't do anything about it. Yeah, this looks better. Looks a lot better. Maybe I should paint over that with some grass now that I see that. I don't think that looks really that good, so let's do that. And then we'll re-put down some meadow grass over top of that. Okay, that's pretty decent. Let's do this side, and then we'll smooth out that back side that I was talking about there that I needed to work on, and then I think we'll be, as far as the actual area that we wanted to have set up, I think we'll be done there. And you'll have an idea of really how things are going to look for the new yard area, right? Yeah, that's about as good as I'm going to be able to get that, given the restrictions that we have here. All right. I mean, that's a little bit of a drop there. I don't really necessarily like that, I don't think, but, you know, whatever. It is what it is, I guess. All right, I might have to actually change a little bit of the paint here, too. I mean, to go up a little bit further here with grass. I think up to there. It's not going to look perfect, unfortunately, but, you know, it's fine. It is what it is. These trees are kind of causing mayhem. If we get rid of these trees, which I guess we could do that today, but if we get rid of these trees, it won't be as bad, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, it looks a little unrealistic and out of place right now, but once we start adding some bushes and trees to it, I think that's really going to change, you know, the way it actually feels. I think it'll still feel a little realistic if we're able to do that. Maybe a little too close here. This is kind of up on the side of the hill here, the left side of that track, but that's all right. The smoothing, I think with the smoothing, it just smoothed out a little bit too much into that. It is what it is. There's not much I can do about it. The only thing I can do is maybe come through here with a small... See, I can go smaller. I don't know why it wouldn't let me go smaller with everything else. But anyway, go through with a very, very small amount and kind of go right here and level that down here, right? I guess that's the only thing I could really do. I'm not too concerned about it. I don't think we'll use this track at all, so I'm not really that concerned about it. I mean, we might as well just drive down to here and come in, or if we're coming from this way to here, or if we're coming from this way to here. It doesn't really make sense for us to even go up that track, so I'm not really that concerned about it. All right, well, we've already got a pallet of sunflower oil to that too, which is great. Okay, so all of that is set now. In March, we are going to be really, really busy. So March, we're going to have sunflowers going in field 52, field 58, 91, 92, 78, and 70. So we're going to be really, 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 really busy come March. So what we might end up doing, since there's not really a whole lot else for us to do besides this today, and I don't want to just do contracts or anything like that, we might just go ahead and jump to March and get some of it done. Certainly not all of it, but we can get some of it done. But before we do that, let's just take a peek and make sure everything's in a good state here. So it is out of sunflower oil, so we'll turn that off. This one is still chewing through the sunflowers into the sunflower oil. That's fine. It's going to take it a while, but, you know, whatever. Eventually it'll be gone. These, they have enough liquid fertilizer for the time being. I mean, I guess we could top them off. It might be smart, actually, to top them off. Let's do that. Let's top all of this off with liquid fertilizer before we jump to the next month. Just because, quite frankly, if we don't, then we're going to have that job as well to do next month, right? It's going to be, they're going to be a little low. So let's top those off. I do think our lettuce is actually best to sell next month as well, I think. And then next month we will turn off the auto-selling probably of the peppers and of the tomatoes. And we'll be flipping on the lettuce to auto-selling, I think. I think lettuce was next month. I think it was March. We'll find out, I guess. So this shouldn't take much. Just be a little splash and dash. Yep, there we go. Might need... Well, I was going to say we might need more, but it doesn't look like it. Whoops, I'll just run right into that tree. Good job, Z. Way to go, buddy. All right, so that's all the liquid fertilizer done. Before we jump here, let's just double-check my statement that... that the lettuce is next month. And actually, I want to do a few more things to Yard 2 still. We haven't accomplished everything that needs to be accomplished for Yard 2 yet. And what I mean by that is there are rules for each farm that has to be done for you to actually say that the farm has everything it requires. And we haven't accomplished that yet. Here, you could say we have, but it's been a bit of a stretch. This isn't really a barn. It's just more of a cover. But you're supposed to have 2 barns. That's a barn. You're supposed to have 2 barns. And you're supposed to have a silo, which... we hid back here for this one because we're never going to use it for Farm 1. It's all greenhouses, right? We didn't really do that yet for Farm 2. We don't have a silo down on a new yard. We had one in the old one. We need to put one down in the new one. But I think it was expensive, the one I wanted to do. And 2, we don't have a house of any sort here either. And we need to do that too, right? So we've got $190,000. It's not a ton of money. This is more of like our production area, but again, really the main production we need is this one. I want to do the crude oil, which is a mod. I want to do that. I don't think there's quite enough room here for the crude oil, though, and obviously we don't have enough money to even really start the crude oil yet. But eventually we're going to get crude oil going here on Farm 2, because that's another oil. Because Farm 2 is really just an oil farm. Any oil of any sort. But, yeah, $100,000 just to get the pump well going. And then you need another, well, I guess you can do a small refinery for $170,000. So I guess technically, right now, we could get it going, technically. But as you can see, they need quite a bit of space here, right? I'm not even sure where I'd want to put it. I feel like this one would probably be best here, up against the edge here. Might make the drive-through a little bit tight there, but I still think it would be okay. I think we got enough room there. There's so many different, spawn points there that we have to just be careful of that, and that's the reason why I'm saying I would probably put it there. This one, I mean, we would put it in and put it automatically distributing to the refinery. Instead of putting them in barrels, we would distribute it directly to the refinery. So this doesn't really matter where we put it. I guess we could literally put it right up against the edge here if we wanted to, which might be the smart play to put it, right? It doesn't take up as much space, so you can still drive straight through here and around. The big oil one is obviously a lot larger, so we could go with that one versus the big... Oh, that's the big oil pump, excuse me. Oh, so it's the same thing as this one. Okay, where's the large or medium refinery? It's a medium refinery. That thing is gigantic, so yeah, we would go with this one. At least in current state, if we wanted to put it here. Now, if we bought more land, we could put it wherever we want, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be here. A part of it could be here, and the other part could be elsewhere, right? But you get what I'm trying to get at, right? So... silos, we talked about what I wanted to do here for the silo, I think, in the last episode, but long story short, in case you missed it, I'd honestly like to do one of these where it's underground. Now, it's not very expensive, but I'd have to add some more stuff to the back of it to really make it function and look proper. I'm not quite sure where I want to put it at yet. That's kind of where we're at. I was leaning towards maybe something like here, or I said over here, maybe. Even I'm fine with putting it over here as well, but I don't know exactly where to put it yet. So basically the way this works is it's underneath the ground. The storage is underneath the ground, but I would put some silos behind it, some extensions or whatever, right? Just to make it look like it's above, add some of these here and there, whatever, right? Even if they're not actually being utilized, it doesn't matter. I just want it to look like it is. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for the silo. I'm just not quite sure where I want to put it yet, so I'm taking... any and all advice from any of you that whatever you think I may or should do with that, let me know. I'm interested to hear that. I also talked about a header rack. I haven't downloaded it yet. I thought I still had it downloaded. I didn't, and so I need to download that. I just haven't done it yet. But anyway, maybe a header rack somewhere in this range here as well for the harvester. So that's still something I want to focus on trying to do. The header rack can be a little finicky though, but I still want to do it. I still think it would look good. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at for the time being. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump to March, and yeah, we'll get started. All right, welcome to March, gang. We've got our sunflowers, well, our drill for sunflowers here ready to go. We're gonna get started. I'm actually gonna put it on a worker. One other thing we have not put down in the new farm that we had in the old one for Farm 2 was a buying silo. We need to do that. We're gonna run out of stuff here soon. Now, to be fair, we're pretty close to the shop, so we may necessarily not need a buying silo anymore, since we are so close to the shop. Might just go that approach. Don't fully know yet. I can't tell you at this point. We probably will just go to the shop since it's not too far away, but if we decide we need one later on, we can do it. Excuse me. Now, what I might need here for this is a bit of a weight here. It's looking pretty heavy here. It's looking like it's pulling up the front tires here. We might want to go buy a weight here. Let's just see how it goes on the ground. That seems fine. It's just when I'm driving it, it's a little tricky, I guess is how we'll put it, right? A little tricky. But anyway. Now, we're going to do this field ourselves, and then I'm going to turn the lines back off. I just was doing an episode on the Triple Threat Challenge, and at the end of the Triple Threat Challenge there, the GPS was being ridiculous, so I had to turn the lines on. I guess I forgot to turn those lines back off, but anyway. You know, I don't really normally like to have the lines on. That's just personal preference. I just don't like the way the lines look when I'm doing it. I think it looks a little... the way what I was getting ready to say isn't even a word, but I don't like the I like keeping as many... I like to put as few things on the screen as possible. I mean, obviously what you're seeing right now, I can't remove any of these on console. But I like to have as few things on the screen as humanly possible, and you know, I think adding those lines just adds way more to it, and it just becomes really busy. I guess that's how I'll word it. Everything becomes really, really busy. I know a lot of people enjoy having the map up whenever we're doing precision farming, which we are doing, but we're just seeding right now, so there's not really anything to see specifically, so that's why I turned that off. But anyway, you get what I mean. I want to try to keep the view as... This is what I'm getting ready to say doesn't make sense because of all the things I just mentioned, right? The things in each corner here, but try to keep it as realism as much as possible, where you don't have things all over the screen, and you can just look and enjoy what's happening on the screen. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but if it does, that's kind of where my head's at all the time. So anyway, we're going to get this field drilled up, and then I'm going to put a worker on doing some of this. And the reason why I'm going to put a worker on doing some of this is because there are some other things we need to do that I kind of forgot about, I guess. One, we've got the pickled lettuce to go sell. I turned on the pickled lettuce on auto selling. I kept the peppers and the tomatoes on auto selling as well because the price is still pretty decent. It's not that bad. So I'm going to keep them on auto selling for a little bit longer than I initially planned to. I said I was going to turn them off in March, but we're not going to do that. We're going to leave them on. So just being transparent with you, I left them on auto selling. So when 10 o'clock hits, we're going to get a good chunk of money for that lettuce. Would I make more money if I actually let them spawn and go sell them manually? Yes, I would. I'm not, as I said before, I'm not too concerned about the money anymore. I certainly want to try to get the best, as much money as we can out of that, and there are certain periods of time where it's really low, but right now, with it being such a decent price all around the board, we'll just keep it in on auto selling. You do lose, I think it was Crest2 or somebody figured it out. I think it's like 10 to 20% of loss if you were to do it, you know, the manual way versus putting it on auto selling. It's fine. We're still making good money on it. I'm not too concerned about that. As I said, money's not really a big issue for us anymore on this series, other than the fact of, you know, wanting to get more pieces of land and start another farm and more bigger equipment, etc., etc. That's really the only, the only thing that really doing it manually would help is just getting that a little bit quicker, but I'm not too concerned about that. We will get it. We will get it with time. Not worried. So that's happening. We also have our coffee beans roasted that are ready to sell. Now, I could put those on auto selling as well. I'm going to actually dump them into the trailer and we're going to go sell them. I don't know if it's at the same place or not. In other words, I don't know if it's at the train station or not. I'm going to look and see how many we have. I don't even know how many we have because I think we sold most of them last month. At least I think we did. Well, I say last month. I mean, in January, I guess at this point. Last episode. Yeah, there's quite a bit of coffee beans in there, so maybe we didn't. Maybe I'm thinking of another. I don't know. Anyway, we're gonna go sell them regardless. So the coffee beans roasted are best at the farmers market, which is right next to us. So that's good. So we're gonna get this set up here. I'm gonna buy some more seeds from the shop right now. And with those seeds from the shop, we will fill this thing back up, and then we'll put a worker on getting going. In one of the large fields. Probably the one over there, the skinny large field that we have over there. Now, these fields specifically are going to need some fertilizer still, right? What we're putting down right now, it's just only seeds, right? So they're going to need still some nitrogen. And as you can see, it's bad. So we need to put nitrogen back down on these fields as well. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get it all done today, but we are going to have to put that on this field at some point in March. So we'll focus on doing that as well. Let's put this on. I don't think we have anything left up here at the shop. I think I moved everything at this point. I did, but let's go ahead and buy some seeds here. Well, if I go to the right menu, not really anything in the used market, unfortunately, for us. The manure spreader, maybe, but we don't really have any animals, at least not at current, so no reason to buy that. Yeah, we'll buy a pallet of seeds here. We're not going to use all of it, and that's fine. There's still going to be some left over here, up here, I should say. That's all right. We'll come get it later. Not a big deal. I'm going to fold that up. Whoop. There we go. Now it's gotten really heavy in the back, and that's why it's pulling the tires up there a bit, but we also need to roll these fields too, right? We've got a roller now, my favorite thing in the world, but we need to roll them too. Honestly, for this series, it would probably be good for us to start getting a third tractor soon enough. Obviously, we're not going to use that third tractor all the time, but we are going to use it a lot more than you might think when it becomes times to seed and drill and etc., right? So, put this on a worker. Perfect. All right, and then let's jump to here, and we'll start unloading these coffee beans and go and get these sold. Now, 10 o'clock hits. Like I said, we're going to make some good money. We're at $308,000 right now, which is a good amount of money. It really is. It's a lot of money, as a matter of fact. But I would be surprised if we don't hit $500,000 today. I think we're going to, because we have so many coffee beans roasted, right? And they're worth almost $2,000 per 1,000 liters, right? And we've got $200 and some odd thousand in there. So just do the math. We're going to. And then we're going to sell all this lettuce here at 10 o'clock. Which is going to be significant as well. Is it going to get us to 500,000 by itself? No, but it'll probably get us close to 400. It'll probably be somewhere in the range of $100,000 to $120,000 off the lettuce, which is a lot of money, guys. That's a lot of money. Would love to have something else in the used market, and I've mentioned this many times before, and I'm going to mention it again here, but you know, I really, 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 really wish Giants would open up the opportunity to be able to add some other mods that the PC players get that we don't. One of those mods would be the extended used shop, where we have, you know, some guys on the PC, I'm seeing like 20, 30, 40 different items in the used market. I would love to have that. And a lot of you are going to argue and say, well, just get a PC. And you're right, I could. And technically, the PC I have right now that I use for editing, it probably could run this. Would it run it as well? Probably not. It probably wouldn't run it as well as my Xbox. I don't know for sure, though. But I have an Xbox Series X. You know, I've got the highest one, so probably not. But it could run it. But to be fair, you know, the goal at this point, and a lot of you have mentioned it, and it's definitely the goal, is for you know, me to make that upgrade or that switch from Xbox to PC. at least for, you know, doing this game. I still have a drive to want console. I grew up with playing console games, and it's showing my age here, but I grew up playing console games, and that's not to say I didn't play PC games. I've talked about it before. The whole one-tile challenge that I created, right, that came from a PC game by heart. Now it's all over the place, but you know, from the original Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? So I definitely played PC games when I was younger. 100% I did. There's $100,000 right there alone for that. That was $112,000 counting the environmental score. So we're going to hit $500,000. Anyway, moving on. You know, definitely do, but most of the games that I played on PC at that time were games like that. Anybody remember Ski Tycoon? Anybody remember that? I played the heck out of that too. That and Roller Coaster Tycoon, I played like during the 90s craze of the Tycoons that really started with Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? I mean, I played Tycoons nonstop on the PC. And the other thing I played on PC was strategy type of games. Age of Empires. I loved Age of Empires when I was younger. So that's really, though, all I played on PC. Everything else, shooters, you know, multiplayer stuff, anything like that, I always played on console. And it's just because I grew up with consoles. The first console I ever had was a NES, Nintendo Entertainment System. And then it kind of just went from there, right? So I just have a soft spot for console gaming, and yeah, that's just kind of what I've always done. But for this game, I do think the more that I move along here, it makes a lot of sense to go the PC approach, just because there are so many more options for mods that we just don't get here on consoles. So it's a goal of mine. I don't know when it'll happen. To be honest with you, you know, PCs are not cheap, right? They're not cheap. Do I need the most highest, greatest PC to run this game? No, but I do want to, if I'm going to go that approach of getting a PC, I want it to make a difference. In other words, I want the graphics to be able to be ran on high, right? I don't know what the Xbox is running it on. I have no idea, but you get what I mean. You know, that's a long-term milestone, I guess, for the channel here is to get an upgrade for a PC of some sort to run Farming Simulator on, and then when that happens, you know, then, you know, maybe we'll go the approach of everything else that I kind of talked about recently on other episodes, where, you know, I was talking about getting a wheel and, you know, the Thrustmaster farm stick, etc., right? You still can get those, but it would be a better setup to have that, you know, connected to a PC versus through the Xbox. You can still do it, but I don't know if there's going to be any kind of delay or lag or anything like that, and I certainly don't want that happening, right? Probably wouldn't be, but, you know, you never know, right? You never know, so. The other thing is, if I do go the approach of the PC, right, and that's what I'm saying, the long-term milestone, but if I do go the approach of the PC, any of these series that we're currently running would, well, quite frankly, they no longer exist. I can't pull an Xbox save over to the PC and play it on PC, so, you know, that's another, I guess, negative to, at least right now, until we have, like, all the series complete. So it almost, to me, seems like it might be better for me just to save up a little bit of money over the next year or two and then buy a PC for when the next iteration of Farming Simulator comes out, right? And then start fresh from there. That might be the way to go. Versus trying to finish the recording on the Xbox, then unhook everything to the PC, and then, you know, hook it back up, you know, every other day. Like, it would just be a lot of extra effort that I don't think necessarily needs to happen. So, I don't know. We will see. We will see, but yeah, long-term milestone, long-term goal is for me to get a PC for Farming Simulator for the channel as we move forward. All right, so we eclipsed $500,000 already, gang. That's and we're not even at 10 o'clock yet. So this is fantastic. This is really, really good. Hurry up, Save. Hurry up. Still 100,000 left in there. So we're gonna be living in the money here in a minute. We are gonna have so much we're not gonna know what to do with it. It's gonna be great. It's 100% going to justify the statement that I said recently where, you know, whenever we do take a pause from this, because there is a pause coming up on this series soon, we're not going to redo anything. It's going to be left off right where you last watched, but we'll take a month or two off while I work on a new series, getting that started and loaded up, and just a bit of a break for this one for a little while. But we will easily have enough money where when we get back, we can start Farm 3. Farm 2 is clearly, obviously, not done yet, but, you know, we will still have enough money that we're able to manage both Farm 1 and Farm 2 and start Farm 3 without any true issues, right? That's kind of the intent. Now, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do for Farm 3. I've kind of been back and forth a little bit on what I want to do, right? I was thinking root crops. I'm not quite sure I want to do root crops. We're already doing heavy cotton on the Island Preservation series. I don't want to necessarily do that here, excuse me. I was thinking maybe going animals, you know, but we're going to be doing heavy animals on both the other series as well. So I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. Maybe... Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answers right now, gang, so... But if you have any thoughts on what you think I should do for Farm 3, you let me know down below. I'm interested to hear what you think. We could go sugar beet root. We could go... I don't know. Really anything. We could do animals, like I said, right? We could do... I don't necessarily want to do forestry work. I will say that. I don't want to do forestry work. I don't think it's the greatest thing to record and watch. So I don't want to do any forestry, so I don't want to do any kind of a forest type of farm. I don't want a sawmill or farm or anything like that. I don't want to do anything like that. But any kind of crops or animals, I'm all for. Sugar cane, right? Maybe we do a sugar farm. Maybe that's what we do, sugar beets and sugar cane. Because we don't really do that all that often, right? So maybe that's the approach. Maybe we go with a sugar farm. That would be kind of interesting, I think. Not many people do sugar cane and sugar beets very often. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down below on that. And we'll figure that out, right? We'll make that decision as we move forward. There's a high probability here that we're going to have to do a couple episodes in March now that I'm seeing just how long it's taking us to get some of this stuff done, right? There's a lot of fields to do. We've got to roll them all. We've got to put fertilizer down on all of them. There's a lot. There's a lot to do here, gang. There really is. There's a lot to do. We're about to hit 10 o'clock as well, so when that 10 o'clock hits, we are going to, well, we're going to make some big money, too. We're going to make a lot of money again. Look at this, gang. Look at this money we got just pouring in right now. This is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Rain's in the forecast, evidently. I didn't even see that. I think that was there the whole time, and I didn't even notice it. I don't know when the rain's going to be here, though. All right, there we go. We're up to 715,000 now. I mean... We're cooking, man. We are cooking right now. This is good. This is really good. We'll be at 1 million probably before we move on to taking a bit of a break on this one. Well, maybe. We've got a lot of other things we want to put down first, right? We want to get the house down. We want to get a silo down. Probably a header rack down. I also talked a couple times about you know, maybe putting down some of the crude oil stuff, right? All of that's very expensive. We also need some more land. We need to buy some more land. Because it appears to me that we might want to do the crude oil in a couple of different locations versus putting it all in that main production area that I showed, which if we don't put the crude oil there, then I don't know what we're going to do with that land and all that money I spent flattening that area out. I mean, we could put some more sheds and stuff down. We'll find something. We got to put a house down and all that kind of stuff, right? We'll find something. Not a huge concern. At least not right now. This is awesome. This is awesome, man. So much money. I love this. Love it. All right, here we go. Let's see. Should be close to 800,000. Probably more than that. Yep. Just slightly over it. $805,000, gang. What a day. That is huge. That is a huge amount of money we made. I mean, we made $500,000 in March, just in March. And we're going to probably make more as we move along here because, like I said, we're not going to get all of this done today. And we're actually already really far into this episode. It's a lot longer than I actually thought it was going to take to get where we got to, so like I said, we might have to do 3 episodes here in March, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. $805,000 means we almost could buy, I think, almost every big field here. We can buy this one. We can actually buy this one now, too. Yeah, we can barely, only just, but we can buy that one now, too. That tiny little field, that costs an absolute arm and a leg. Just jackknife real quick there, Z. Go ahead, buddy. All right, so $805,000, man. That's huge. That's huge. Huge. I love that. I love that for us. It's going to open up so many different possibilities for us. So many different possibilities. All right. $805,000. So, there's a planter. You know, poplar, maybe I'd consider poplar too. I don't think I will want poplar, but maybe I would consider it. Looks like the worker's nearly done. They're doing the outside headland pass right now. But, you know, anyway. This one has... Ooh, this one has canola in it, right? Nope, that's spinach. Okay. Any other fields on our land that has... Nope. Not down here, at least. And I said I wanted to keep Farm 2 down here and then up this edge here. These do not count, but from 69 down and all the way over here and underneath the main road here. That's for Farm 2. Farm 3 is going to take all of this and all the way up. So quite a lot of room for Farm 3, as a matter of fact. But I don't know. The more I'm thinking about Farm 3, the more I'm thinking sugar beets or a sugar farm makes a lot of sense. I like the idea of that. But I want all of your inputs, of course. You know, if nobody likes that idea, then we'll shift gears, of course, right? You know what? Let's do the silos. Let's figure this out. I guess I could go crazy and go with a gigantic silo setup, but do we really need that? No, because everything's going to be going into productions, really. So no. I don't know. I think I want to think about it a little bit more. The only I do think this is the way I want to go. I'm just not quite sure where I want to put it yet. I'll tell you what. Let me back out. Let me find that header rack. Let me see if we can get that sorted out. All right, we are back. I went ahead and got it installed. So let's see how this is all going to look. Now I don't know what it's under. I don't know if it's under shed. I have no idea what this is going to be under. It didn't really specifically that I saw specify, but maybe I missed it somewhere. Container? I don't think it would be container. That doesn't really make any sense, does it? Maybe it's under production? Tools? Maybe tools. Not tools. Okay. I wouldn't think it would be silo, but maybe it's silo? And then we'll check production after this if we don't find it in here, which I'm not expecting to find it in here. It's not. Okay, so it must be production or factories. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense, but it should be, I guess. Where is this thing at? I didn't see it in there, but maybe I'm... Okay, I don't know where this is, gang. Alright, I'm gonna find it. Yeah, see, probably smart if you actually clicked on the installed item when you loaded up the game instead of just installing it and then not clicking it. Okay, so we've got... This is a small rack. This probably is all we really need. I mean, these are really cool looking, but I'm not quite sure we need this big setup. Maybe we do. I don't know. Well, we certainly don't need that one. this would be the extent, I think. I don't think we need more than that. We can customize it, so I feel like I would do that. It's not the same color. I kind of want to match it up with the two sheds we have here. We have like an orangish colored roof and a reddish colored roof, but they're both wood. So this kind of has that same texture color on the side of the barns here. So just try to match it up to one of the roofs here. I think that's a little bit too dark for this one. That maybe? No, that is way too bright. Not that one. Nope. None of those really match that over there. The one we had before kind of matches it closer, doesn't it? What about this one down here? I didn't see this one. No. Not really that one either. I mean, it's not exactly the same color, but it's close, and it kind of fits the theme that we're going here with the red roofs on this side, at least. So, yeah, let's do that. Where do I want to put this at? Well, I think over here makes the most sense, honestly, up against the edge here. So, we'll do that, but we've got to move the headers out of the way. Not very expensive either, so that's a good thing. Now, I don't know if this one's actually going to be able to stay on here or not. The one that folds up here, it might not actually work. I mean, because I think if we unfold it, let's find out. But I think if we unfold it, I don't think it'll allow me to unhook it from the harvester. Yeah. Oh, nope. There. Okay, it did do it. All right, never mind. It did allow it. Huh, interesting. Alright, now we should have enough room to put that down. So let's grab this again. Is this the right one? I think so. Yeah, I think so. And then customize, and then change, and then we're going to use that color there. And there we go. Alright, so I'm going to give myself enough room over here to be able to back things in. There. Okay, how's this going to work? I guess. I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to get this one up there. I don't think there's going to be a way for me to get this one up there now that I'm looking at it. I might have just wasted a little bit of money here. Although it was only like $15,000, so it wasn't outrageous, but... Well, they're up there. It's not probably the most perfect situation, but they're up there. Well, that's that, gang. We've got our header rack up. That's what I was hoping for. It's not exactly working how I thought, but it works nonetheless. So we'll leave the episode at this point. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button in case you've yet to do so. They are free to do. It helps me out an absolute ton. It's the easiest way to help me out, actually. If you want to become a member, there's a link down below. You do get early access to videos like this one. Make sure you check out the second channel. Check out the Discord. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.